Welcome back, everybody. In today's video, we're going to take a look back yet again at another pre-Prohibition classic. Just like many other popular pre-Prohibition classic cocktails, this one has gained a lot of popularity recently thanks to the craft cocktail movement. We are, of course, talking about the White Lady. So in this video, we're going to take a look at the cocktail family that the White Lady lives inside of. We're going to make the cocktail, and stay tuned to the very end because we're going to use that same cocktail family structure to come up with a fun, modern version of this pre-Prohibition classic. Hi everybody, I'm Chris from A Bar Above. I'm a 15-year veteran of the bar and somebody that loves making fun and creative cocktails. Now we're going to make the White Lady together here in a moment, but before we do, let's quickly talk about the cocktail family that it lives inside of. Now when we take a look at the list of ingredients that go into this particular cocktail, there are two things that stand out to me that help me identify the subfamily of cocktail that we're going to experiment with. First of all, we're using fruit acid in order to achieve balance in this particular drink, so it fits squarely inside of the sour family. More specifically though, we're using liqueur as our main sweetening agent, so when we look at the cocktail families, this is going to be squarely inside of the daisy subfamily. Now some of the more popular cocktails that live in that daisy subfamily are ones you're probably familiar with, the margarita and the sidecar. Now I've talked about this particular cocktail family in the past, and I usually add about a quarter ounce of simple syrup whenever I am making a daisy because modern liqueurs aren't sweet enough to achieve the balance that we're hoping for in this particular cocktail. So that's the reason we're going to adjust the recipe just slightly. Now there is one major sticking point when it comes to this particular cocktail, and that is if you're going to stick with the OG recipe of not using egg whites, or if you're going to do much more of a modern twist and include the egg whites. So when this particular cocktail recipe was first published in the Savoy Cocktail Book, it omitted the egg whites. So this is going to make a very intense, very bright style of cocktail. The reason I like adding the egg whites in there is because the egg whites provide kind of a blanket to some of the more intense flavors that we're about to experience. It brings everything closer to the center, and it just makes it much more of a cohesive cocktail experience. So that is why I'm going to opt to make a little bit more of the modern version of this particular cocktail. So let's go ahead and make a more modern version of the White Lady together. To make the White Lady, we're going to go ahead and start by adding all of our ingredients into our cheater tin here. This is the cheater tin, the smaller of the two tins, and we're going to add our spirit first. In this case, we're going to be adding gin. Now, traditionally this calls for a London dry style gin, and what that means is you have a very, very juniper focused spirit. And this really does help to kind of brace this cocktail up. Next, we're going to use our liqueur, and this is going to give us our sweetness as well as a nice backbone of orange flavor that runs through this cocktail. Now that is a basis for most daisies, and this is where it kind of falls short in my opinion because the Cointreau doesn't have the sweetness it needs to balance out the acid that we're about to add. So that is why we're going to add just a splash of simple syrup. Now with this particular cocktail, the simple syrup is actually going to play two key roles. First off, it is going to add the sweetness that we just talked about that is really needed, but also it's going to add a little bit more room for our egg whites to fluff up. Now, the problem I've had with this particular cocktail, and I made it quite a few times in the past, is without the additional simple syrup, the egg whites start to get chalky, and it makes for a really terrible drinking experience. So that simple addition of simple syrup really does help to alleviate that chalkiness from the egg whites. And this is one of my favorite features of our fine strainer and our juicer is that they work together, and usually it helps to target the juice. It's the little things about our product that make me smile. So in goes the lemon juice, and finally we're going to add the egg white in here. Now as I mentioned before, you can definitely make this without the egg white. But it's going to be much more sharp in flavor on the acid as well as the gin. Now, the final technique that we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and do a reverse dry shake. And the whole point of the reverse dry shake is that we really want to build up the foam in our cocktail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shake it with the ice, then I'm going to take it out, take the ice out of it and shake it again to really develop the egg whites into a really, really kind of a thick foam or kind of a pillow basically on the top. So we're gonna capture the ice here, put all the egg whites and everything into our cheater tin again. Get rid of the ice, and now we're going to shake it again to really develop that foam. And the best part is you don't need to strain it because you already have. And for the garnish, we're just going to do a simple lemon twist right across the top. And this is going to kind of eliminate some of the odors that you would traditionally get from egg white style cocktails. And it also is going to give you a nice fresh citrus note when you first go in to drink the cocktail. And there we have it, the modern version of the White Lady. So for our modern twist, we're going to start off the exact same way. We're going to go ahead and build everything in our cheater tin here. And we're going to start switching things up. Now you don't need to use these specific ingredients. These are just kind of ideas that you can plug in to that cocktail family formula that we talked about. So instead of gin, we're actually going to start with a white rum. Now this white rum does have some nice kind of funky grassy notes to it, so it's going to be a really good substitute for this particular cocktail. And we're going to go switch it up from the traditional Cointreau to a dry Curacau. Now this adds a lot more sweetness and orange flavor, so it's definitely going to kind of bump that up a lot. Finally, we're going to add some Cherau, but not too much. Now this is an aloe liqueur. It's going to help to kind of round out this particular cocktail and add even more vegetal notes since we were kind of subbing out the gin. And as always with the Daisy, we're going to add just a splash of simple syrup for all the reasons we talked about earlier. And for our acid, we're going to switch it up a little bit. So with rum, I like to go with lime juice as our main acid. They just kind of have a strong affinity together. Once again, my favorite part of this. And there we are. And finally, we're going to do the egg white as well. We're going to do the same exact shaking technique, the reverse dry shake, and build up that egg white foam. And now we're going to shake to really build up that foam layer. And for the garnish, we're going to use some fresh lime zest right across the top. And there we have it, our fun adaptation to the White Lady. Now let's go ahead and taste our version of the White Lady. Cheers, everybody. That is fantastic. You can definitely tell it has kind of the essence of the White Lady. You get these kind of vegetal notes in there. The Cherau really kind of ramps up that vegetal note. It is lean, it is dry, but it has a ton of flavor in the background. The orange comes through, and the rum definitely shines as well. It's a very rich, full-bodied experience versus kind of the more lean, focused version of the White Lady. Both are very good. They're just very, very different, but they still have kind of the essence of each other at its root. And this is the power of using the cocktail family formula as your base. You're always going to have that commonality when you start swapping out ingredients, and you can definitely see that with these two cocktails. So there we have it. We have made the modern version of the pre-prohibition classic White Lady. We've talked about the cocktail family that it lives inside of, and we've used that cocktail family template with the ingredients that we had on hand in order to come up with something fun and delicious. And that is the beautiful thing about the cocktail family template. You can use whatever ingredients you have in your bar and really start to explore your options. Now, we have used all of our own tools throughout this entire video. If you are looking to stock up on high quality barware, head on over to shop.abarabove.com. where you can find all the tools we use today and many, many more. So we're gonna have some more videos like this in the future. Hit the like, subscribe, and the bell icon, and you will get notified whenever we release those videos. Until then, I hope you guys are enjoying your favorite version of the White Lady. Cheers.